You are now listening to the podcast for geeks and the stuff they love, where each week we'll talk about everything from anime to movies, games, and prop collecting with the people who create and love it. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Vince.
I'm James.
And this is your Geek Fix. So in case you didn't know, on this podcast, we all come from different parts of the world. So I'm from the U.S. You got James, who is in Spain, but comes from the U.K. You got Vinz, who lives in the Netherlands.
Yep.
And we all travel a lot, so we kind of travel all around the world. And I thought, what would be interesting on this particular episode is to talk about one of my favorite things, which is theme parks. Because there's a lot that are out there, and also it kind of comes down to the kinds of rides you like and the places that you like to go. So the reason why I tend to like things like Disneyland and stuff like that is because I like those dark rides. I like the things that have a theme where I'm immersed into a world briefly and then get to come out the other side. I've always kind of like that. Or I've always liked the haunted houses too, that you're stuck on a car and forced to go through and things like that. Those are some rides I like. I love roller coasters as well, but those are the ones I look for, and those are like kinds of theme parks that I typically like. I wanted to hear those. What are some of the places you guys have gone? What are some of the theme parks? What's your favorites?
Mine is now long gone, and it's actually in ruins, I think. There are some drone footage on YouTube where you can go through the park and it's all covered in foliage and all that. It's called,
what park is it?
Yeah, it's a Dutch park. It's called Land van Ooit, which means the land of ever.
You're going to have to send me a link so I can put this in the description, because I'm not going to know how to type that in.
No, Land van Ooit, yeah. But the thing was, it was basically, and this was totally into my kind of deal back then in the 80s and 90s. They had a castle, and it was all medieval style. So and they would also always say that in this country, kids are the boss, and parents have to listen to the kids.
Oh, that's cool.
They would have like people wearing wigs and like lackeys and everything, and damsels and knights and everything, like full armor. And there would be like druids living in the forest, and there would be a whole lore around it. They even made it into a TV show later.
Really?
There was Knight Granite, who was stronger than ever. There was this druidic dryad called Sap, which means sap in English. And the cool thing was they would actually get night tournaments on horses fighting against each other in real life. And one knight actually died, unfortunately. So there were Polish knights doing actual jousting and fighting and everything like that, like with axes on shields and all that. It was really great stuff. I don't think it's
Did you say
anymore. Polish? Yeah, they came from Poland, those knights, and they would just bash the crap out of people.
But it's not because they were Polish that they were making them fight with them.
No. But because they were battle-hardened people. And they were...
They had this idea for a theme park.
Maybe a polarizing topic. Yeah. But that was the thing. They always said they were Polish knights. So like, okay, cool.
Wow.
So Poland has castles and knights. Yeah. And that was the way we always saw it. And I went to Poland, and they do have castles.
Yeah.
Knights, not that many. But the thing was that
they were at the theme park.
They all went
you wouldn't put it on the signage, right?
Yeah. No, actual real Polish knights.
Wow.
But that was the whole deal about it, that they would go really hard on those medieval jousting battles and everything.
Wow.
And
so this wasn't like the what's it called here in the U.S. The
like a Ren
medieval
fair.
Times. It's not like medieval times then.
I don't know.
Medieval times. Medieval times is like it's a castle, usually in the middle of some big city, because they have multiple across the U.S. So like you go to L.A., there's medieval times, and it's a big castle, and you go inside, and it's a big arena, and then they have jousting and stuff like that, and then you eat turkey
like
legs
a dinner show
and stuff like that. Yeah.
No, this is a theme park, so they had actual. They had actual sections, like in the forest where the druid or the dryad lives. There would be like trees and everything cultivated to that. There was also the giant kingdom, where there would actually be giant characters made like out of metal and everything, like
Oh, wow.
standing in the lakes and everything, looking
Yeah.
down on you and moving like. And then there would
Oh,
be
that's cool.
actors running around that would be the kids of the giants, which were adults.
So
running
what
around.
made this place shut? I mean, like, well, why did it go away? Sounds
I
like
think,
a good time.
I read about it that they tried to branch out in Belgium, and there's this big TV show with a puppet dog that got famous there, and they branched out into also kind of theme parks based on those shows. And something along the line of that didn't go well in Belgium, and they lost money or something. It was all a big mess. What I read, so they had to abandon the park and everything. But the coolest thing was there were Nintendo championships there. There was like the Legend of Zelda for the CDI was on display on a kiosk in the restaurant.
That's cool.
And basically, you know, it was all themed according to things. So, for example, the bad guy, which was the Raven or something, you would go sit in a pod or in some chairs, and there would be like this giant cage where he would crawl over the cage and jump down and fly down, and ravens would fly up and everything. It was really, really cool stuff. And so they made themes and sections out of those lands, and it was great. I mean, I love to go there, but it's all derelict now, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's hard when they shut stuff like that down. It's I don't know. What about you, James?
Well, I don't have any like memories of big theme parks that I went to in England, but here in Spain at least, I've been to the Warner Brothers park in Madrid, like 10 years ago maybe, which was like the memories that I have of it like were really, really good. Just because I went with my class at the time, like it was a school sort of trip out, and that was really, really good. Like,
is that what they actually call it, or is it kind of like a Six Flags here, where it has like everything, all the rides are Warner Brothers themed?
No. It's like the official Warner Brothers park.
Is it? Oh, wow.
In Madrid, yeah. You've got the Warner Brothers logo like out front that you can take pictures in front of,
cool.
and then inside.
It's like the Universal Studios of Spain, huh? Oh, okay.
But it's been a while since I've been. I don't know if they've done many modifications, but like it was fairly big at the time. You obviously had like lots of Warner Brothers fashion. Like I remember you had the Looney Tunes, lots of rides, and then you had Batman and Superman and so on. But then like more recently, just in the area closest to me, I've been going to Aqualandia, so it's a water theme park.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't the biggest water theme park in Spain, but it's, I would say, the one closest to me. And
like, is it water slides or like water themed roller coasters?
Oh no, it is more that it's just a water theme park. Like, there's no roller coasters or anything. You've got like tons and tons of water slides.
Yeah.
But like the kinds that you go down on your own, the kinds where you have like inner tubes that you go inside of. But yeah, no, like Aqualandia is one that I also very highly recommend. It's a nice day out. Although depending on when you go, you can get very easily sunburned.
I was gonna say it's probably plenty hot right now, isn't it?
Yeah, surprisingly, even in September, it's still warm enough to get burnt if you go out. We're starting to get nicer weather being like cooler and like more shaded, but it's still pretty hot.
I mean, it's been pretty bad here too. It's nice to. That's one of the things also about dark rides is like when you're at the hot parks, you can always go. You know that you can always go and even wait in line in some rides, and at least you'll stay cool while you're in there. Are you guys familiar with Action Park?
Nope.
Haven't heard about it. Action Park is pretty famous. It's from New Jersey. It opened up in the 80s. I think it was the early 80s that it opened up. Vernon Township in New Jersey, where this guy, Eugene Mulvihill, he opened up this theme park. And the whole idea behind the theme park was basically he had the land, he had some money, and he's like, I'm going to start, we'll build rides, we'll have a water slide even. And we'll just randomly, like, rather than hiring people like actual engineers or people that, have some background, he hired only teenagers, and he just asked the teenagers, hey, you have an idea for a ride? And then they draw it and they'd be like, yeah, let's make that. Like, they have a water slide that would go down like this, and then it would go through a loop and then outward. And he actually paid the staff, I think it was $50 to go down the slide. And after multiple concussions and other head injuries, they opened.
I was just about to ask you if they did safety tests before.
Oh, no, just on their own employees. They had a luge kind of thing where we used to have one of these in Park City, Utah too. You basically have this little handbrake thing that doesn't really work, and it goes down, and it's always going too fast. So they had one of those, and people were constantly getting hurt, and they had multiple deaths. So this place had deaths, so many deaths, that they lost their insurance and had to start their own insurance company based out of the Caymans. And then were so bad that they even lost from their own insurance company wouldn't cover them anymore. They bought ambulances for the town, so they would have 3 ambulances on site, things like that. But yeah, that was Action Park, which is actually opening. They reopened and I think and closed and opened. But you can watch. I think the best thing to check out if you type in Action Park is go watch. There's multiple documentaries, and they are super interesting, every single bit of it. But the other there's some other parks that I decided to look up just out of curiosity. I found out there was one near me called Rush Mountain Adventure Park in South Dakota, and it has kind of similar to that to Action Park. It has like there is a zip line ride where basically you get 2 of you sit on the swing thing and it zip lines you across. They also have one of those luge things. They have all these rides that are kind of free running and kind of dangerous. But the best part is they also have an actual cave that you can go into, caves that are underneath it, and check out the caves. And then there's Bonbon Land. This is the one, if you guys want to look up Bonbon Land, Bonbon Land in Denmark.
Bonbon Land?
Yep. I was curious if either of you had already heard about this one or been there.
No.
Bonbon Land was started by a candy maker. The way that the candy maker actually even started was that he was eating some candy one day and he had looked at it and it was all soft and whatever.
Is that in Denmark, the one? Yeah.
His response was to the candy he was eating was, "Ick, this looks like a dog fart," quote unquote. And so then he decides that's what I should make is dog fart candy. And so he starts off with dog fart candy, which was popular. Then he makes,
I know that stuff.
Candy that's in the shape of women's. He made candy that was focused on things like that. Diapers, and then he decided I should open a theme park on this same theme. And this is a park for kids. If you watch some videos and look at some photos, this is a park for kids, very popular amongst kids. I can't show during this video any pictures of this because I would be instantly demonetized.
I loved that candy as a
charged.
Kid.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Which one? The dog fart one or the?
There were like ants and there were like
or the cow one.
Yeah, all of them. They were great, but they had high shock value. Also in the stores. And they were. So
the cartoons are a little risque.
Yeah,
those characters are real characters in this world. The first ride that he opened was the dog fart ride, which has a giant dog that has poop on the ground and things that you ride around.
But this was in the gross out period, like in the 80s and 90s, where you had like the ghoulies and like creepy crawlers, all that kind of stuff. There's
pretty gratuitous though stuff in this part 2. So they have a merry-go-round, for example, that I don't even think I can talk about it.
No, but if you
watch a video, you look at some pictures. If you want to, I would recommend that you don't go to some of those pictures if you're. But at the same time, that's a real place, a real theme park. Oh, wow. And so there's a good time for you.
I need to go there, man.
Yeah, for unrelated reasons.
No, I like the candy. Do they still sell the candy there?
Yeah, they have it.
Cool.
They have it there. In fact, the purpose behind the theme park originally was that he wanted kids to be able to experience what it was like to make the candy.
Okay.
So when you went, you actually get it. They have a factory there, and you actually get to participate in the making of these things, and then you get to take home with you. That was the first thing, and then they added the dark fart ride, and then it just kind of blew up from there. But yeah, Bonbonland is still open. It's still available. If you've been to Bonbonland, let us know in the comments. I would be very interested to know.
Some of these things just look like fever dream.
They are. But if you see the cartoons that go with the commercials, they are insane.
Yeah. There's actual animation. That was tied to the actual candy, but still. Yeah.
One other thing, though, I saw on the site, it links to Bobbejaanland, which is in Belgium, and it's named after a guy. His artist name was Bobbejaan Schoepen, and he was a singer and a bit of a cowboy inspired dude. And he made his own theme park as well. And the cool thing about that always stuck with me was that they had this like Pirates of the Caribbean ride, kind of, but in a Western setting. And they had on the cart they had Nintendo Zappers repurposed as laser guns or light guns, and you could shoot the targets, and people would fall down and everything like that. Yeah.
Oh wow!
And
yeah,
that was one of the most impressive rides I've been on. The fact that
it worked better than Buzz Lightyear's ride.
Yeah. Well, it was a marvel of engineering. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Wow.
But man,
I think
Bonbonland.
Speaking of which, marvel of engineering, one of the biggest places I would love to go, since it opened, I really wanted to go, but that would be the only reason I would have to go there, is Ferrari World, which is in Abu Dhabi, in United Arab Emirates.
Just around the corner.
It is amazing, though. This theme park is one of the best rides to it. Is you all get into this giant Ferrari that zooms out of this big building, which is from the sky, looks like the emblem of the Ferrari, the emblem. And you zoom out of it on this road that goes out and about and comes back in. It looks so cool. This is one of the best places. They have all these really cool rides. You get to see the cars that they have there. I mean, it's amazing, but it'd be a little bit hard probably for me to get over there, but that was the only reason. But yeah, what a cool ride. What a cool place. Here's a good one for you, though. Hacienda Napoles, Puerto Triunfo in Colombia. That is the house of an individual who is known for being a drug smuggler. Oh. And they decided to embrace that drug culture. And so you basically go to Pablo Escobar's drug smuggling location, and you get to see this theme park. They have the drug smuggler's mansion that you can go through. You get to go to his black market. It has a zoo, bullfighting ring, private plane, which was used for running.
Does it have
an airship? There's remnants of his car collection and other artifacts that give you a glimpse into his former international cocaine king's high life. Bring the kids.
Oh, wow.
Bring
your kids.
And then my favorite one. Here's the best one. This is what I was thinking about the whole time you were talking about your favorite theme park, Vinz. Yeah. Which is there is the Dwarf Empire in Kunming, China.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Have you? Dwarf Empire is a village filled with little people who, and now I'd say look up this too. It looks like the Smurfs houses, basically, literally. I think that's where they modeled it from. But at any rate, this little people, they literally live there, and they put on shows throughout the day, in which they dance in unison, and you'll have 2 to 4 foot performers live in colorful mushroom-shaped houses that emerge twice a day to perform various shows, sing songs, and engage in sports contests.
This just doesn't seem right.
It's really bad, isn't it? I mean, you're going to live here now.
Well, there's an Idiot Abroad episode about it with Carl Pilkington. I'm not sure if Warwick Davis...
Carl Pilkington. Did he go there?
Carl did. I don't know if Warwick went with him.
Oh, I stopped watching it after the second season. That's a great show. Because they're both people
One of the top videos is Carl Pilkington talks to Warwick Davis about the Chinese dwarf village. So
that's great. I'll have to look at that.
Might not
Yeah,
be
I'd
the
love
best
to see a
topic.
video of it.
Yeah.
But it does seem wrong, doesn't it? Like it just
sounds
seems,
exploitative,
it's so
yeah.
many levels. It's like, come on, kids, let's go see the small people dance in unison.
You could be so rude with that as a parent though. Like, don't wander off too far, or you'll stay here forever.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they do it with most scary rides though. But yeah, man.
Maybe that's how some of them wind up there. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. I'm a big roller coaster tycoon person and Imagineering person. I love places that give you an experience or take you into another world. I also like watching videos of all these parks that they started to build. That these big theme parks, especially in China and stuff. There's these giant theme parks where a majority of it's done or even completed, but they never opened.
Yeah.
And and so people, of course, go and they'll walk through these abandoned theme parks, and those are some of my favorite videos too. But if you have a favorite abandoned theme park too, or if you have a theme park that you like going to, or that you think that we should know about, please let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this podcast and want more, stay tuned for that, but also check out our channel, join the community on YouTube that goes by the same name, Your Geek Fix. Be sure to check out Vinz on Twitter at MassiveDMG_ and on his YouTube channel, MassiveDMG. Check out James at Mr. Malto4 on Instagram and the Replica Prop Forum. We also want to hear from you, so be sure to send your questions, stories, and other projects to yourgeekfix@gmail.com. In the meantime, this has been Your Geek Fix.